Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, a podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. And now your host, David Ginsburg.
Hello everybody, welcome to the last episode of April. It is hard to believe that we are just a little over 1 month away from Women in Tabletop Gaming Month. You can find out more information at the website womenintabletopgaming.com or follow us on our Twitter page at TalesFTFandom for all the up-to-date information, who we're partnering with, who is participating. Hopefully the release schedule will be out by the time you are hearing this, or will be out within the first week of May. I am very excited to get this project underway and out the door so everyone can enjoy over 30 episodes of content for this project. It is phenomenal. I have to thank everybody that has participated, everybody who's taken the time from their schedules to do this project with me, and of course special thanks to all the people who are partnering with us, whether it's White Wolf Entertainment or Chaosium for role-playing game creators. We have Tabletop Loot, The Rook and the Raven as some of the small businesses that support tabletop gaming, and we have podcasts like Hexes and Bows, Dungeons and Dragons, The Broadswords, and so many more who are dedicating at least one episode of their podcast to women in tabletop gaming. Not only that, we've got a lot of other content creators doing their thing on their podcasts, on their YouTube channels, on their blogs, and I'm excited to see what is going to be released in June. So definitely take a look for that. If you'd like to support the podcast, check us out on Patreon to support us for even just $1 a month. It helps with hosting fees, websites, and all that fun stuff. And of course, you do get some goodies for every level that you decide to pledge at. If you're more interested in buying something that sticks around a while, as far as like shirts or notebooks or totes, you can find us on TeePublic. We have different things from Tales from the Fandom, Tales from the Five Nations, and of course the Women in Tabletop Gaming logo. If anybody purchases that specific item, all proceeds go to a women's charity. You can find out more information again at womenintabletopgaming.com. Right now, we'll get into a promo for a different podcast because I love to support all sorts of podcasts. And then you will be back to England with Anjuli Clayden. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening, and I hope you guys have a great end of the month.
Experience Dungeons and Dragons like you've never experienced before.
So, girls, tell us about Dave.
So,
Tell me how great I am.
Dave's a little drunk and all.
Feel the tension.
Like some chips.
They don't have any chips.
Feel the excitement.
29 more javelins.
You gonna throw another javelin?
Well, 29 more.
Epic storytelling.
This island, as all the locals know, is the island of Atlantis, and you are not welcome here.
And with no swearing or profanity of any kind.
Ah, jeez.
This is
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters.
Find out more at dungeonsdragonsdaughters.podbean.com, your favorite podcast service or preferred social site.
We're also on YouTube.
And welcome to another episode of Tales from the Fandom. We are back over in England today with a guest that I was lucky and fortunate enough to meet on Twitter, and now she is here across the internet talking with me as we record this in January, where she has a nasty day and it's actually freezing here in Orlando. But I'm joined by Anjuli Clayden. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, hello, hi. Hey.
How are you doing today?
Good, very good. Cold, but very good.
Yeah, you're over in England, and so you've got like you've got the stereotypical, I guess, like nasty English, like gray, rainy day.
Yeah, it's exactly as the movies state that it always is here. We have like a week of hot weather. But yeah, but it is very cold. Like, I'm having to put the heating on the last couple of days, which is I haven't had to do actually over December or November. But yeah, heating's come on. It's chilly.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anjali, we, like I said before, like we actually got connected through Twitter. Like, I don't know if I followed you first or you followed me, but you have like a very passionate, like, you post a lot of stuff that falls in line with like what I love, especially with Dungeons and Dragons. So I was really happy that you agreed to come on and be a guest today.
Oh, well, I'm happy that you asked. Yeah, I'm glad my nerdy ramblings caught someone's eye.
Now, the first question I want to ask is, how did you get into Dungeons and Dragons?
I think the way a lot of new people did, and that was Stranger Things. Yeah, I watched Stranger Things like last summer or whatever, summer before last.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I was like, oh, damn, Dungeons and Dragons is cool, but not cool. I don't think I have any friends that want to play it with me. But I still went out and bought the starter set in like hope, just in hope that someone would play it with me at some point in my life. And I was down the pub with a couple of friends and we were talking about Stranger Things, and then I just sort of like slipped casually into conversation. Hey, doesn't Dungeons and Dragons look cool? And to my surprise, the people that I was with were like, yes, it does, we should play this. And so I spent ages sort of trying to work out exactly how one plays Dungeons and Dragons, and took over the role of the Dungeon Master because I couldn't trust my friends to actually be organised enough to be Dungeon Master. Yeah. And it just went from there. Meet every other week, and it's been really nice actually for that, because I still got that home group, but we've all sort of, some of us have moved away from the town where we all live, but it just means that we can all get together at least like once a month and chat and play a game together and have some rum and just, yeah, have fun.
That's awesome. That was one of the things when I saw Stranger Things, because I'm not normally a person that likes like horror movies or types of those type of shows.
Yeah.
And a friend had said, "Oh, you should check out Stranger Things." I was like, "Okay, because you said so, I'll watch it." And within the first 5 minutes, I was hooked because I was like, kids playing Dungeons and Dragons, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like that's it for me.
Yeah, it's just great, like just 80s nostalgia to it. I love the theme tune, I love the way it's shot. And I was surprised, so I didn't even hear about it. My husband, who is not in any way, shape or form geeky or nerdy, was like, Anjuli, I've just watched the first episode of this and it's amazing, we should watch this together. And so yeah, we sort of binged it in like the weekend. And it was, yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Now, you did something that is really, I mean, it's a bold step, but it's something that I'm really happy to hear. Like, because one of the things with Dungeons and Dragons is finding people that will actually volunteer to be the dungeon master and run the game. And that is so cool that you stepped up. You hadn't played it, but you're like, here, I'm going to run the game so that way everyone can play it. That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually, and it's probably my favorite thing. Like I do DM for a couple of games now, and I've done like, I have like 2 home games where one of the games is we're playing the Prince of the Apocalypse and I'm DMing for that. And then I DM like we have a one-shot party where every 6 weeks we meet up and we just play a random one-shot. We all build a character and I DM those. And I'm going to be starting another game of the Lost Mines of Phandalin next Thursday, and that's a once-a-month game for some newbies who are really into D&D, but like they really want to play, but none of them know how to play. So I've sort of stepped up and said, okay, I know Lost Mines, let's just do that again. And it'll be better this time because I actually know what I'm doing as a DM. But yeah, I really like writing the story and like changing what the Wizards of the Coast have made and making it my own, and I really love that part of it. And I get to be like crafty with it. You get to make the maps and the minis and all those crafty bits that go with it. It suits me as well.
That's awesome. Like, that's what I was going to ask next, is what draws you to be a DM. But yeah, definitely like crafting the story and just getting everybody like into the story that you're doing, and just getting, one of the things that I love when I DM is getting to see what they decide to like do, or what are they going to come up with, because I'll think of like, okay, they could do A, B, or C, and they'll come up out of left field with like something you've never even considered, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, let's see where this goes.
Yeah, they're super annoying like that. Yeah, I do have to plan like loads of different scenarios just because you're just like, you They're just going to kill him. All they do, my team, they just murder hobos and they just run in and they're like, we don't even care why you're here. We stab you. And I'm like, guys, how are you going to find out the information? And they're like, it's too late, it's dead. Dead now. It's like, great. And then I have to think of some way that I can give them the information that they need to move on without being like, I can't believe you just killed him. But they do like to just run in and stab.
I have like the opposite group sometimes where it's like, okay, here's like the like several different like plot hooks that you go with, and they're like, no, we want to just talk to people.
Yeah.
The whole game.
Just chat.
But there's like things that are going on. No, I don't want to do that. I want to talk to that NPC over there.
Yeah.
I want to get involved in something that's totally like not even related to this, like the storyline or anything, but that's what they want to do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, they don't even have a name. Now I've got to think of some fantasy name and remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah. They are little buggers. But yeah.
Now, do you get to play anytime or do you just DM?
I do get to play as well. I have a lot of D&D going on in my life. I play was playing a half-orc barbarian in Storm King's Thunder, but she got killed by some mind flayers, which was super sad just before Christmas. So I now play a snow leopard tabaxi ranger in Storm King's Thunder. She's cool.
Okay.
She's level 8 now. So she's like super amazing. I love her already. And I've only played one game with her, but she took down a cloud giant boss, so she's good. And I play a gnome monk in a homebrew game for some people that I met on meetup.com who lived sort of in the area, in the Surrey area, and they wanted to just play a game, so I joined that one as well. And then, yeah, I do some random one-shots like online as well, and people on Twitter mainly say, hey, do you want to play? And I'm like, yes, I do. So, yeah. But yeah, that was... Yeah, so I play a lot of D&D, probably more than I should. But yeah, it's good fun.
That's cool. Now, I always ask my my people that I talk to that play Dungeons and Dragons, and I love to find out, do you have like a favorite race or a favorite class that you like to play over others?
I don't like magic. I hate it. Don't understand it. Makes me crazy. So I will not play magic casters, wizards, sorcerers, any of them. I'm more of a run in, smash it, and then run away again type. So I play barbarians, fighters, sometimes rogues, but yeah, I like to cause a lot of damage and not faff about with spells. I just don't understand them. There's so much. Like, I understand like they're great for role play and for doing something out of the box, but when I'm in a fight, I just want to go in and punch it. And when I play like, you know, Dragon Age or things online or things on my PlayStation, I'm always the fightery type one. I like to be at the front. I like to be the tank.
Right.
Races, I really like the Tabaxi. I like how they're a bit like sneaky and that's probably my favourite build that I've made is a Tabaxi. But I haven't made a lot of different races, so I can't say. But Tabaxi was always one I really wanted to make, so I'm glad I got a chance to with my Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I'm the same way with, at least for my classes. Like I stay away from almost anything magic. Like I'll play the cleric or I'll play like a druid, but I won't do like wizard or sorcerer or warlock. Like those classes, just they're not for me. It's been that way ever since like I started playing back in like 2nd edition, 3rd edition, where I didn't want to have to deal with like spells and memorizing and figure out which one that you wanted to memorize today. Yeah. And it's like, no thanks.
Yeah, I just want to stab it. That will hurt more. Yeah. And I hate it when I'm like trying to play it as the DM and all of a sudden you look at the NPC and they're full of magic and you're like, damn it, now I've got to learn how to do this. And I have to try and find some like cheater's way around because I don't want to have to faff with like 1,000 spells because they're a level 9 spellcaster. You're just like, ugh. Okay, I give them 5 spells, but they get to use them more often. That's my rules. Yeah, I hate using magic.
Now, what is it about the Tabaxi? Because I didn't really know much about them, but then like Tomb of Annihilation came out and everyone was like seemingly like playing Tabaxi all the time on like different Twitch games or live streams, and I'm like, I have no idea about this race that I've not really heard of, except that like, they're cat people.
Yeah, they came out in Volo's Guide to Monsters as like a playable race that you could play, but by that point I'd already made all my characters up. I don't know why. I hate cats. It's weird. I'm not a cat person, and yeah, I really want to play cat people. They're quite dexterous, and they've got long limbs, and they're just very graceful. And I suppose that's the opposite of what I am. I am not a graceful person, and I like the way that people make them talk, where they're sort of always and they have weird names. Like their names are just like Bob. It's always like something really descriptive. Like my Tabaxi is Golden Mists at Sunrise, but everyone calls her Misty because it's just easier for them. But her full name they're just nice descriptive type names. And I find the race quite interesting.
Well, Volo's Guide is on my wish list of books to eventually get, because I'd love to just dive in there and see what they've come up with, because there seems to be a lot of new races that people are playing that I've not heard of, and I'm like, oh, I wonder. I guess some of them must come from Volos, or maybe from like the DM's Guild.
Yeah, the Tabaxi, they've also got Tritons, and one of my people in the group that I DM for, he plays a Triton in the Prince of the Apocalypse, and that works really well because it's elemental evil, and he's like this mermaid with legs, and he's on land, and he just loves being a mermaid and running around. Like that's what he does, is just sometimes he stabs things, but really he just likes jumping in the water and splashing around. And I'm like, that's cool. You do that, merman. But yeah, Volo's has got some interesting races that are a bit different, and yeah, I like that. I also played a Tortle. That was a good race to play as well. I enjoyed the Tortle.
Yeah. That was one of the other ones where, like, I had a friend that was like, I want a game to play just so I can play a turtle. And I was like, what's a turtle? And he's like, it's a turtle person.
Yeah. We played a one-shot. I wrote a one-shot in Chult, because I want this Prince of the Apocalypse to end earlier than it's meant to, so that I can take them all to Chult and we can do Tomb of Annihilation and like meld the two together. So I wanted to introduce them to that, the jungles and that. So I wrote a little one shot, and they all had to be turtles, and they loved it because they all got to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, basically. And they were all just running around shouting "Cowabunga." It was brilliant. I loved it. Yeah, it was really good. That's a really good race as well, because they get like natural armor at like 17 and without even having to try. So they're all pretty like hard to hit, which is good for barbarians and stuff.
That's cool. I'll have to look into them, because what my friend is playing like a turtle druid, and I was like, okay, I can get down with that like combination right there.
Yeah. I mean, they don't wear any armor or anything because they've already got their natural armor with their shells. But they get like some cool like little moves where they can, if they don't want to fight, they can just curl up into their shell for like a turn, just hide out in their shell, so they can't be hit, but they can't do anything either. But if they don't like where they are, they can just zip up into their shell. Hope that someone pushes them out the way.
What would be your pitch for people that are listening that maybe are on the fence of playing Dungeons and Dragons? Like, what would you say to them to be like, you need to play?
What do I say to people? I would say that it's just so much fun. Like, and you can get as much out of it as you want. If you want to go the whole hog, you want to be really into the role play, build this amazing character, and really get into their mindset, you can. But you can also you can also just be a character and just go in and hit stuff, and it's a really nice way to make new friends as well. Like, I highly recommend, if you move to a new area, find a D&D group somewhere, because like the people there they're guaranteed there'll be nice people. There'll be a couple of rules lawyers and such, but most of the time there'll be really, really good people who just want to have fun with other people. And I think that's the best thing about D&D, is that it just brings people together who maybe wouldn't hang out with each other normally, or wouldn't even know each other existed. And it's a really nice little family to be part of. Yeah, that's my play D&D, get off the fence.
Now, getting away from D&D, I wanted to talk to you about, apparently, because every time I talk with somebody in England, it's one of the two things that always shows up on like my pre-show questionnaire of things that they're into, and you are into Harry Potter.
I so am into Harry Potter. It's the best thing ever. Yeah. I love Harry Potter. Yeah.
Were you a kid when it came out, or did you get into it later?
So yeah, the first one came out in 97, so I was 12, 13, going on 13. I don't think I actually got into it though until Prisoner of Azkaban. So I was like 14, 15. And I remember sitting in my maths class and there was a boy in front of me reading it. And I was like, why are you reading that? It's a kid's book. Like, we're so grown up at 15. And I was like, why are you reading that? Why aren't you reading a good book? And he was like, Anjuli, seriously, this is the best books ever. And yeah, I sort of went into town with my mum and we went shopping and I saw the first three of them in a box set. And I was like, Mum, just buy me these. Someone said they're really, really good. And I read them all like within a couple of days, just devoured them, and then was annoyed that I'd had to wait for the next one. Which was, yeah, a big pain. But I just fell in love with that world. I think I just, waiting for my letter for Hogwarts. Just like everyone else ever who's ever read them. Just waiting for that letter. 33 now. Come on, get that letter to me. But yeah, I was probably about, I mean, if you go by like J.K. Rowling's timelines, I'm younger than Harry, but the books came out as I was sort of the same ages as him. So it sort of fitted as he moved up through the school, so did I.
Awesome. Now, with every person that I talk to about Harry Potter, I do have to ask, it's like a prerequisite at this point, what house are you?
I am Ravenclaw. And I think it seems right. I used to manage a bookshop, and everyone I worked with in any of the other shops were all Ravenclaws. Booksellers are Ravenclaws. A couple of Slytherins in there, maybe. But mainly we're Ravenclaws. I did do the test the other day, though, and they put me in Hufflepuff, so maybe I'm a Ravenpuff. But, yeah, I like to say I'm Ravenclaw. Luna was Ravenclaw. She's the best. I love Luna.
Is Luna your favorite character?
Her and Ron. I love Ron. I love him in the later books. Book 6 and book 7. I just love his character so much. He's this super grumpy, just teenage boy. And he just reminded me of my little brother. I just love him. Yeah. Old Ron. He's the best. Yeah. And Luna. Luna's a bit crazy, so I like Luna. She reminds me of me. Just a little bit odd.
That's awesome. Like, Luna is my second favorite. I love, like, my favorite character is Neville Longbottom. I love Neville.
Yeah, Neville. I like him as well. As like a in the background character. He's very good at sort of helping to tie the book together with his slightly comedic antics. Yeah. I like Neville.
Now, do you have a favorite book out of the series?
Half-Blood Prince. Yeah. I think in Half-Blood Prince it's when there's a lot of teenage angst as well as end of the world angst, and I just love the dynamics between Ron and Hermione, and with Harry sort of in the middle thinking, oh gosh, the world's ending, but the friendship of my two best friends is also ending, and I don't know what's more important. Number 6 is definitely the book that I like to go back and reread. It makes me laugh the most. Though I read all of them like at least once a year, but yeah, number 6 is.
Yeah, it's been interesting because this is the first year where my kids have shown any interest in Harry Potter, and my daughter, who is 8, she's finished the first 2 books probably within the past month, which is really surprising. And she already told me today that I needed to go into the garage and get Prisoner of Azkaban ready for her. And then her twin brother, he hadn't been reading them, but I told them after they reached chapter 7 in the first book, The Sorting Hat, that I would let them take the quiz on the Pottermore website to see what house they'd get sorted into. And so now he's reading it so that way he can get to that so he can take the quiz.
Oh.
And like my wife and I are both Hufflepuffs. And then my oldest son is a Slytherin and my daughter's a Gryffindor. So he's like, I think I'm going to be a Ravenclaw. And I said, I think you might be.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. It's getting a bit dark though as well. She's going to be wanting to read the fourth one, and I always think like, oh, the fourth one. That's like it's a bit dark and scary then. Yeah.
Yeah. What's interesting though is that they've seen like bits and pieces of the movies because there's like a certain channel over here in the States that routinely, at least like once a month, they have a Harry Potter marathon, and I'll just put that on as like background. So they've seen bits and pieces of all sorts of the movies, and we have the movies on DVD, and I think they watched the first one with us, but they haven't watched like like number 2 or number 3 like all the way through.
Yeah.
And I am waiting to see what happens. When she finished Chamber of Secrets, she was all excited about like the basilisk and how it got killed and the book, and I was like, oh, you got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. And it's what I love about them is that the things come back like later. So although you don't see the basilisk again until the last book, like it's there and it's always in your mind. And so it's nice that she takes you back to some of these like places. That's one of my favourite bits with her books.
It is. It's so good. What are your thoughts on the Fantastic Beasts movies?
I'm enjoying them. I enjoyed the first one. Like it's cute and it's got like it's very reminiscent of the original 8 films, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I dislike spin-off films on principle, but I did enjoy the Fantastic Beasts. But I did find that it wasn't one that I ran out to. I don't own that one yet on Blu-ray. Like the other Harry Potter, as soon as they came out, I bought them. But this one, I'm like, maybe I'll wait till like the trilogy's finished and then buy them in a box set. But like, I don't feel the need to rewatch it anytime soon. Like, I might rewatch it before the next one comes out because I will go see it because I can't help myself. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't grip me like the original books did. But I am interested in that backstory. Like, I'm interested in what happens with Dumbledore next. Like, I like Dumbledore as a character, and I'd like to see him in his youth and what.
Right. I think that was when I was watching it, is like the part that got me was, we don't have a book to reference to or to have already fallen in love with the characters. Like the first movie is all about them, you are having to fall in love with these characters that you don't know anything about. And for me, that was hard on, like, with certain characters. I was like, I don't like those characters. But then there's other characters where I was like, please, I love them, and I want to see more of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think because the next one's going to be mainly based around, like, Dumbledore and then his relationship with Grindelwald. It's going to be interesting to see that side of it, because at the moment you've only got hints that have come in from book 6 and book 7. And you don't really know the full story, so it'd be good to, but I do like that in the films, like you get, like that. I watched the Fantastic Beasts and then reread the series, and I was like, oh, that's what she was hinting at, and she's like mentioned it in, like she mentions bits of things in the books, but she never goes into any detail, and then she's using the films now to sort of fill in those gaps that she missed out. So that was quite good to then reread the books again and be like, I know what she's talking about. I'm so smart. But really, it's not me that's smart. It was J.K. Rowling. But
yeah, I'm excited to see what they come up with, especially, once they had announced that, oh, we're going to make 5 movies. I'm like, oh, that will be good. I'll take that.
I thought it was 3. You're more well informed than I am. I thought trilogy would be fine. But 5, that'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Yes, I am excited. More any Harry Potter, as long as it's well done, or anything in that magical world, I'll take.
Yep. I've been to see the Cursed Child play twice now as well, as I loved it the first time, so I was like, I have to get tickets to see it the second time. It's gonna be so good, and it was very, very good. And yeah, I've been to the Warner Brothers Studios 5 times now, which is when I put my hat, they ask you at the beginning, who's been here once before, and everyone puts their hands up, and then they're like twice, 3 times, and then at the end it was 5 times, and it was just me with my hand up. I was like, oh no, I am that one, that loser. So you're right near the Wizarding World, aren't you? Well, not in the same area. I've never been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I just want to go so bad. I just can't make it over there.
Yeah, we live right here in Orlando, so we've been just the one time to go there, and it was a lot of fun. And I do have to say that butterbeer is delicious. Yes. But I always see the pictures of that studio tour, and it's like, I want to go there so badly.
Yeah, it really is good fun. I went with some people from Twitter just before Christmas. I went with I lived in Cake. Do you know?
Okay.
I lived in a Cake. She came over from New Zealand, so I met up with her. So it was me, Leslie, and Kat, who does the podcast for the Pocket Mimic podcast. She's one of the hosts on that. And yeah, we all just met up and we went for the day around Harry Potter Studios. It was amazing. Even though I'd been there 4 times already. It was so good. Yeah. And obviously, Leslie hadn't been there before, so her and Hanno took ages going around just looking at every little thing. Whereas we were like, yep, seen that. What's the new thing? But yeah, it's great. The way they set it out as well. So each part, you're sort of, as you're moving through the story, they open the main doors and there's just the Hogwarts dining room there waiting for you to run in. And if it's your birthday, you might be lucky enough to open the doors to Hogwarts. It's good fun.
Hopefully one day it will still be around for me to get to. I want to see everything, see all the things.
Yeah, I don't think they'll take it down. It was meant to be just a 1-year thing, but that was 4 years ago. I don't think it's going down. They just keep adding to it. This year they opened the Forbidden Forest, and the year before was the Hogwarts Express. So they keep adding bits and bits and making it larger so that people obviously keep coming back. But yeah, it's good.
Now, beyond Dungeons and Dragons and beyond Harry Potter, there's one more thing that really piqued my interest because it's not a show that I watch, and I'd love to be more informed about it, and that is the show that's the Adventure Time.
Yeah. It's such a good cartoon. It's basically it's like a comedy, almost Dungeons and Dragons. It's so cute. Finn and Jake are off adventuring. Basically, it's just them mainly fighting against the Ice King who keeps kidnapping Princess Bubblegum. But it's just really fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but the guy that writes it is really into D&D, so it has that D&D sort of feeling behind it, of this adventuring with this boy who doesn't look like the type of person who should be adventuring, and it's just very funny and weird.
What is your favorite thing about it? What drew you to it when you got into it?
Oh, I really like the way it's drawn. It's very simple, but really bright colours, and I really love really simply drawn cartoons that are just not afraid of colour, and it's just, that's what it is. It's just paint palette just threw up all over it, and it's just a lot of fun. The conversations that Finn and Jake have with each other are just silly, but also really sweet, and it's just fun to watch. 20 minutes you sit down and just be oh, I feel good at the end of that. That's made me feel better. That's why I love it.
Do you have a favorite character in the show?
Oh, probably Jake. I think it's hard to. Sometimes I really like the Ice King because he's so pathetic, and you just can't help but be you don't want him to win, obviously, because Princess Bubblegum doesn't want to marry him, but he should stop trying to force women into marrying him, but still, he's just so sad. You just think, oh, poor, poor Ice King. If just someone could just love him, everything would be okay. So yeah, I think maybe Ice King.
Okay.
Or the heroes. Yeah, they're all good.
Should a person that's never seen the show start at the first episode and work their way forward?
I think you can pick it up anywhere. Like, you can just watch a random episode, and each episode has its own little, story in it. But there is in each season like a running behind the scenes sort of longer, like a bigger story. So if you just want to pop in and out, you can. But if you want to know what's going on with like Finn and with Jake, then you should definitely start from the beginning and watch them all the way through. I think, yeah, personally.
Okay.
That's how I did it. I just started from the beginning and just watched them all in the right. But you can just like jump in and just be like, oh, here's one. I'll watch that one. They don't seem to like carry on from one to the other like in a very obvious way. It's not like previously on. It's just you just pick up and go.
Are there any is there any particular like season or episode where you're like that's like the perfect representation of Adventure Time?
I think there was one. I think it's season 3. There's one. So yeah, it's I think it's season 3. Maybe season 3. So it's basically Finn enters like a wizard battle because the Ice King wants to steal a kiss from Princess Bubblegum, and Finn's like no, and so they have like this like wizard battle to try and stop the Ice King from winning this kiss off of the princess, and it's just very funny, and it's just you see the Ice King being his like evil but pathetic self, and yeah, that's a really good one to watch. It's probably called like Battle Wizard or something like that. But yeah, season 3, I think that is. But that's a really good one to watch for like a first watch one because it's very funny, and you see my favorite character. So
awesome! I'm gonna have to check it out and see, because I know I've been recommended that show by a few other people, and it was one of those shows when it first came out. I was like, like the graphics are like the the animation style is different, and it just seems like all over the place. But then I heard a lot of people just have recommended it recently, like, oh, you need to watch the show and check it out.
I think, yeah, a lot of people were put off by the animation, that it wasn't this like, super crisp type of style, but that's why I loved it. It's just this almost like they're doodles that have just been tidied up a little bit, and I just really love that about it. That's why I started watching it. Yeah, it's written, if you, the guy that wrote it helped Chris Perkins write Tomb of Annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they wanted Tomb of Annihilation to not be quite so serious, and they wanted it to be a bit comedic in some of the things that go on, and so, yeah, he, I can't remember his name, penned something or another. He was brought on to help them make sure that the Tomb of Annihilation wasn't too serious, and he used his Adventure Time-ness to make sure it was a bit less serious, a bit more fun.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. So yeah, when I read that in the front of the Tomb of Annihilation, I was like, oh, now I have to play Tomb of Annihilation because it's my Adventure Time, basically. So that is the main reason why I'm trying to work out how to put Tomb of Annihilation into Prince of the Apocalypse, because I just want to have Adventure Time at the table. Yeah, I'm trying to work out if it was season 3. I'm pretty sure it's season 3. Season 3, look it up. If I'm wrong, someone tell me.
Yes, I'm sure if you're wrong, someone will definitely at least hopefully make a comment or tweet and be like, okay, this is the actual episode or whatever,
But I think it is season 3. It's like halfway through or something like that.
Now, I did want to ask you, because we talked about it before we started recording, but you listen to a lot of Dungeons and Dragons podcasts.
Yes. I do. It takes up most of my walking time is listening to podcasts.
Do you have any favorites?
Yeah. I love Murder Dice. they're an actual play D&D, and it's 4 of them set in a homebrew world, and the characters that they've created click very well together, and the DM is very good at keeping them in line and getting the story out, and it's very polished even from like episode 1. It doesn't feel too much like when you listen to the newer episodes and go back and listen to the first one, there isn't a huge amount of difference, apart from maybe there's more music playing in the background and it's been edited a bit more. I like that it's actual play and you're just listening to them play their game, which I really like the characters in it. The druid, I like that her favourite thing to change into is a wolf and just rip the necks out thing. It's just like, yeah, rip those necks. That's probably one I listen to a lot of. Like, as soon as it comes out each week, I've already downloaded it. I'm ready for it. Like, it's one of my favourites. What else is there? Wizards on the Wind. That's set in the UK. Again, actual play. But I know that Kai does a lot of editing for it and a lot of music, and he has like a website that goes with it, and he's developed a really, really in-depth world with lots of history and lore to it, which is all up for you to read. And he does different episodes, so it's like some episodes are the main cast going through the world, then other ones are more about the lore or the history of a certain deity or certain belief system, or a certain area, and he goes through like different history bits of it, which is really interesting. And then sometimes there's like little one-shot sort of stories that help you understand what's coming up next in the different stories that he runs, which I really, really like. And that's hopefully the one that I'm going to be recording with soon to be a guest GM on. Should be very exciting. And I'll be running a story set in the same time as the main campaign, but like off to one side, and it will fill in some gaps of some things that are happening. But I really like that one. I'm just trying to go through my list of all of the podcasts that I listen to. Like, which ones are my favourites? Oh, they're all so good. What else have I got? The Dungeon Rats. I love the Dungeon Rats. So basically, it starts with the main characters have killed the royal family and have been punished by being put in the everlasting dungeons, and basically their aim is to try and get out of these dungeons, and they use people from like Twitter and people who talk to them on their social networks and who interact with them to decide what in each episode they're going to be up against and how the story is going to change. Which I really like, that it's more immersive because you're getting into it as well. And I really like the theme tune for the Dungeon Rats as well, and I sing that a lot to myself. But they're really cool guys. I like that one a lot. And their characters have really good voices as well. They have really good character voices. But yeah, I binged on the Dungeon Rats. As soon as I found it, I was like, I can't just listen to one of these episodes. I'm going to have to listen to them all. And they've just started bringing out new ones like for this year, for season 2. But yeah, binge the Dungeon Rats. What else do I really, really love? I really, really love the Pocket Mimic cast, which is not a D&D game in itself, but more about like how-tos. So there's 3-4 that they sit and discuss different like rule systems and different world building and how they as DMs go about creating the worlds that their players play in. So that's always really interesting. They have like little different segments where they talk about different things. So that's good if you're a new DM or you're a player that's interested more in becoming a DM, or just interested in how worlds are developed. That's a really good one to listen to. Also, the Adventure Zone, which I'm sure like most people who are listening to this listen to as well. They just started their next season of a short arc, And yeah, I like the Adventure Zone a lot. It's quite funny, doesn't take itself seriously. It's the only one of these D&D podcasts that I can get my husband to listen to because they don't take it seriously, and they're all very funny. I like the fact that it's three brothers and their dad sitting around a table playing D&D. It's very funny. And Penance RPG as well. That's another UK based one. And the first sort of couple of seasons, they're just sort of the sound quality isn't great, but you should definitely still listen to it anyway and sort of work your way through it, because in the later seasons, the sound quality gets a lot better and their editing and things, and they're all just like really nice people. I met them at Dragon Meet, and they were just lovely people, you know, to just chat to about D&D and about the characters and the world that they're building.
You know, there's a ton of great actual play podcasts out there. I know that everyone seems to find like the ones that definitely fit, you know, their listening style. Because there's ones that I've tried, and I'm like, you know, they weren't for me. But then there's others where it's like, oh dang, like I got to binge. Like,
Yep.
I'm going to listen to 8 hours of D&D podcasts.
Yeah. And that's, sometimes exactly what I do to try and catch up on things. When I was commuting to work, it was a lot easier to binge on them because it would take me 40 minutes to walk to the train station, and then another 20 minutes on the train, and another 15 minutes the other side to get to work. So I could listen to at least like 1.5, 2 episodes of something in the morning, and then same at the other end. But at the moment, I'm not walking anywhere, so I'm just trying to listen to them whilst I'm like drawing or trying to work on the computer or something. I'm trying to catch up on everything. But yeah, there are definitely some really good ones.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good stuff out there. You just have to be patient, take a listen, find out which ones you like and which ones maybe, you know, you don't like. But that's okay, because there's just so many different choices out there.
Yeah. And I always try and give it to like episode 3, 4, just to let everyone sort of get into their groove. But then if I still not getting on with it by then I turn it off for a bit, unless someone says give it another go, and then I give it another go. But yeah, I've just got like a list of about 40 different podcasts that I'm listening to at the moment, trying to get through and work out which ones I enjoy the most. There are other ones. I think I did a screenshot like a couple of months ago of like, oh, here are some of the podcasts I listen to, and then all of a sudden I just had loads of people like, this one's amazing, I haven't tried this one though, what's this one? And I got like so many recommendations for other ones to listen to as well. Like I've got more podcasts than I have time to listen to, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. I know, like I'm a part of like different Facebook podcasting groups, and people are like, I'm subscribed to 400 different podcasts, and I don't understand. Like that's just so much.
Yeah, how can you listen to them all? I don't understand. Yeah, I have to be like, quite with what I listen to in the end. Like I know I really like this one, so I'm going to listen to this one first, then this one, and once I've got through all that, then I'll start on something new. The ones I mentioned are my favourite ones, they're my go-to ones.
Now I wanted to bring up that you have a Etsy shop and a Redbubble portfolio. So what do you do on both of those sites as far as like what do you make?
So I make geeky, nerdy things. So a lot of the stuff on my Etsy at the moment is mainly D&D based. Actually, I've got. I'm working on some new dice trays, but I make like pocket spell books, and which have been really popular. Also, like Harry Potter themed things go really well on there. I've got a teacup from the third book with which I use a China ink, and I paint the Grim on them, and the bottom, so it looks like tea leaves of the Grim, like in the Prisoner of Azkaban when they're doing their divination class, and they're incredibly popular. Yeah, they're probably the best seller for me. But I just try lots of different things with my Etsy shop, making. I think it's going towards more D&D based things because that's what takes up a lot of my life, and I'd like to do more like woodwork based things. Like I've made a couple of wooden dice trays that aren't ready yet to go on the site, but I'd like to do some training in and do some more woodwork based things. That would be really, really good, like dice towers and stuff like that. Probably be ideal for me. And what else? I've just put up a lot of my my artwork and drawings. That's new for this year. So before I didn't have a lot of my drawings on. I had a couple that I would then print out for people, but now I have them all as digital downloads, so people can download the file and they can then put them on whatever they want. And they want to put it on a t-shirt, or they want to make a sticker out of it, or print themselves a poster, they can, because I make sure that they're of a high resolution, so they can be printed out up to A2 size. But mainly my work, the drawings are like D&D based characters and things that I've come across whilst we've been playing, but other weird and nerdy stuff on there as well. Something I did make, which I'm really pleased with, is my deck of many things, which I designed and had printed out and made. They're quite new on there, but they're quite fun. I like those. And then my Redbubble is mainly, again, D&D based on the drawings and illustrations that I do that sometimes might crop up on my Twitter page as well. But yeah, and I do commissions. So if people like my art, you can come and ask me and I'll do commissions for you as well. I've had a couple. I've just done one for someone, which I really, really enjoyed doing. It was like a pair of both of them as their D&D characters, him and his partner. And that was a really cool one to do. But yeah, that's the main thing. I'm trying to go more digital with the Etsy store, just because it's quick and easy, like for both me and for the customer. Like, it's an instant download, so I don't have to worry about getting to the post office and posting it out and it hopefully not getting lost, but sometimes getting lost and then having to deal with that. It's just there, and then they can once they've got that JPEG, they can do with that JPEG what they like. If they want to put it on a t-shirt, put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's always better if you don't have to. It's always better if you don't have to deal with the post office.
I've had because I've had quite a few go missing, so I've had to it's annoying, but I've had to up the shipping prices because I have to now include tracking on them and insurance, because I've had so many last year go missing that it's costing me a lot when I have to send out a replacement for them, and never sure whether the Royal Mail is actually going to give me all of the money back for it or just some of the money. So yeah, the more stuff that I can do which doesn't involve me having to go down to the post office and then deal with them, the better.
Absolutely. Now, for people that have been listening to this episode and they are interested in doing what I have done and following you on social media, what are some of the best places to go to, or to go to your shops? How can people find you?
How can people find me? So on Twitter, I'm Geek Girl Bookworm, but no O in the worm, because that's too many characters for Twitter to handle. So yeah, it's Geek Girl Bookworm, so just WRM at the end. And that's where I'm mainly talking, mainly gibberish, but that's my main contact method. You can find my Facebook store page on there, but I don't play with Facebook very much, so it's not as well looked after as maybe it should be. But that again is Geek Girl Bookworm with the correct spelling, all one word. And that's the same for Etsy. If you just type in Geek Girl Bookworm, you'll find me on there, and my shop and all those things. But yeah, Twitter's probably the best place to chat with me, and I'll chat. I've always got my phone on me, so you just want to say, hey, then please do. Let's be friends. Yay.
Yeah, it's definitely, I said it at the beginning, and I'm saying it again, the D&D community on Twitter is amazing, and it has made, finding people like yourself and other people I've been able to, follow and communicate with and chat with, it has been one of, the best things that I've been able to do, within the past year.
Yeah, I just love that I can talk to people who are far away, but I can still just chat with them, even if it's not via microphone, just through Twitter. But it means that I've got to play some really cool D&D games with people that I wouldn't normally play with. I played with Owlbear. He did Shady Acres at Halloween, which is really fun. We had to be retired adventurers off on one last adventure in our retirement village. So that was always fun, to be completely impaired and old and creaking, but also being a super cool adventurer. And I wouldn't have been able to play that if I hadn't seen it on Twitter. you know, because they all lived in the States. It was just me, so I was up at like 1 a.m. They were like, "Hey, it's 5 p.m." and I was like, "It's 1 a.m. I'm so tired." But we played through, and we finished. It was like 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad it's Saturday tomorrow." But yeah, and yeah, Twitter's like the best place, I think, for finding nerdy, awesome people who will just invite you into their families and chat with you about nonsense.
Yeah, it is great. And Anjuli, I just have to say thank you for coming on and being a guest. It's always a pleasure to talk to people, you know, just all over the world. And it was a lot of fun to talk with you today.
Yay! Sorry I jabbered on so much in the podcast bit. But you should listen to them all. They're so good. They're so good. Yes.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.